Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Anthony Elanga has signed a new contract at Manchester United until June 2026. There's an option to extend for a further year. Anthony Elanga has made 5 first team appearances. Not so long ago, Elanga played in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys, and he also came off the bench in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. Elanga is only the age of 19. He joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 12. He's been at Manchester United now for a good 7.5 years. He is a winner. So anyway, that's the news on Anthony Elanga. Now I want to give you some more news on Anthony Martial. So according to Tutor Mercato Web, Sevilla have reached an agreement in principle to sign Anthony Martial. Martial will move to Spain. He said Anthony Martial's wages is a stumbling block of him going to Sevilla. Martial receives around £240,000 a week at Manchester United. There's been quite a few clubs in for Martial. Obviously Juventus want him on loan. Not so long ago it said Newcastle wanted Martial on loan. He said Newcastle were ready to pay a £6 million loan fee to sign Martial. Arsenal have inquired about him. The other week it said Atletico Madrid were planning a swap deal for Martial and Barcelona have been in for him. A couple of weeks ago, Anthony Martial's agent confirmed that Martial wants to leave Manchester United in January, and Man United set a 30 million asking price on Martial. On Wednesday, Martial held talks with Ralph Rangnick over his future. He's demanding more game time. He's getting nowhere near enough game time at Manchester United. Martial has been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract. He's scored 79 goals in 268 appearances in all competitions. Man United paid an initial fee of 36 million for Martial from Monaco back in 2015. The best season Martial has enjoyed at Man United was his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Now, Manchester United are ready to pay Erling Haaland's release clause. Erling Haaland has a £64 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until the summer. Now, Ralph Rangnick is pushing for Manchester United to sign Erling Haaland. Recently, Rangnick spoke with Erling Haaland's father, Alf-Inge Haaland, over the possibility of his son signing for Manchester United next year. Revert back to the other week, Bild said that Man United are currently only the serious bidder for Erling Haaland, but will have to qualify for the Champions League to get him. There's a few clubs that are in for Erling Haaland. Man City are in for him. It does mention they're ready to trigger his release clause. Haaland is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. You know, he's a prolific goal scorer. Borussia Dortmund got Haaland from Red Bull Salzburg back in 2020. Borussia Dortmund paid around 17.1 million. He's got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2024. When Haaland played at Molde, he played under Solskjaer, and Man United tried to get Haaland when Man United had Solskjaer. You know the news on Boubacar Kamara. Boubacar Kamara's contract talks with Marseille have stalled. Boubacar Kamara is set to leave Marseille in January. Now, revert back to the other day, it said Manchester United agreed terms on a 10 million deal to sign Boubacar Kamara. And he said Boubacar Kamara was set to become the first signing of the Ralf Rangnick era. Kamara is predominantly a defensive midfielder, and don't forget Rangnick has identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. Kamara can also be deployed as a centre-back. He is only the age of 22, so he's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. He's been at Marseille all his life. He joined Marseille as a 5-year-old back in 2005. So obviously risen up their academy, broke into Marseille's senior squad back in 2016. And he's gone on to make over 100 appearances. His current contract at Marseille expires at the end of the season. Manchester United are also in for Julian Alvarez from River Plate. Recently, Manchester United made contact with River Plate for Julian Alvarez. Alvarez has a £17 million release clause that is set to become active. You know, he has been at River Plate for a long time. Ralf Rangnick wants Amadou Haidara as a replacement for Matic. Earlier on in the season, Rangnick said that he wants Amadou Haidara as his first signing as Man United manager. Rangnick, of course, knows the player well because Rangnick used to manage RB Leipzig. And not so long ago, Amadou Haidara did admit that he's a Manchester United fan, and he's also a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. He does have a £33 million release clause, and he's got a contract with Leipzig until 2025. Man United will make 1 or 2 signings next month, but Fabrizio Romano said not so long ago that Man United's main focus on new signings is the summer, not January. Rangnick has identified a tall midfielder as a top priority for Manchester United to replace Matic. Obviously, Rangnick admires Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham, but I'm very sceptical that Rice and Bellingham will leave next month. Rangnick has been given £75 million to spend. Well, earlier on in the season, it said Rangnick had been given £100 million to spend. Rangnick has enjoyed a good start to his managerial career at Manchester United. You know, so far he is unbeaten. Reflecting on the win against Norwich on the 11th of December, that was back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Rangnick. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. But Rangnick has been warned that he could lose the consultancy role if he fails to get Manchester United into the Champions League. You know, if Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there's a chance that he'll get the Man United job on a permanent basis. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Earlier on this week, Manchester United confirmed the appointment of Ewan Sharp as an assistant coach and analyst. Manchester United got him from Lokomotiv Moscow. Ewan Sharp before worked at Toronto FC. He also worked at New York Red Bulls, and Ewan Sharp knows Ralph Rangnick very well because he worked with him before. He also knows Chris Armas well because obviously he's worked with him twice before. You know, Ewan Sharp was Ralph Rangnick's third addition. Because earlier on this season, Ralph Rangnick recommended Chris Armasin as an assistant. He also recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist. By the way, Old Trafford is set for a revamp. Manchester United are going to increase the capacity to 80,000. In the summer, Manchester United will get a permanent manager. There's been quite a few names linked with a permanent role at Man United. Ruben Amorim has been linked with a permanent role at Man United. It said Man United and Leeds are in for him. Ruben Amorim has a £25 million release clause. He's the manager of Sporting Lisbon. He's been Sporting Lisbon manager for almost 2 years. He's got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. You know, he's won a few trophies at Sporting Lisbon. Before Sporting Lisbon, he managed Braga, and before Braga, he managed Casapia. Don't forget, Ruben Amorim advised Manchester United to hire Erik ten Hag. He's a very young coach, he's Amorim, you know, he's only the age of 36. And yes, Erik ten Hag has been persistently linked with the permanent role at Manchester United. A few weeks ago, Edwin van der Sar spoke about Manchester United's interest in Erik ten Hag. A few weeks ago, Roberto Mancini was linked with a permanent role at Man United, because it did say that Man United consider hiring Roberto Mancini instead of Pochettino. But then obviously Mancini distanced himself from the Man United job. Earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers was mentioned. I disregarded Brendan Rodgers because earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers dismissed links to the Man United job. You know, Rodgers came out and said that I'm proud to be at Leicester, and Pochettino's been persistently linked with the permanent role at Man United. So obviously Man United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson. You know, Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. You know, Manchester United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Man United finished 7th under the David Moyes era. I think that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Then Manchester United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. We won the FA Cup under Van Gaal. Then Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he did win 3 trophies in his first season. In his first season, Mourinho won the Community Shield, the Europa League and the EFL Cup. But the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, because the board didn't recommend the players that he wanted to get in, and Mourinho also had bad disputes with the top players. And a month ago now, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer was Manchester United manager for almost 3 years. Solskjaer was officially sacked after the 4-1 defeat to Watford. As you all know, after Solskjaer got sacked, Solskjaer gave a farewell interview, and he got emotional in that farewell interview, which of course was understandable because Solskjaer adores the club, and Solskjaer was part of the club for a long time. Manchester United paid Solskjaer around $7.5 million to sack him because, revert back to last summer, Solskjaer signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Manchester United made a mistake giving Solskjaer that contract because we knew for a long time that he wasn't the long-term manager for Man United. But Manchester United made the right decision sacking Solskjaer. I don't think they really wanted to sack him, but they had no choice in the end but to sack him. Revert back to the last few months of Solskjaer's managerial tenure, it was just terrible. The performances were terrible and the results were terrible to go with the performances. But reflecting on that, not all the blame stemmed from Solskjaer. Yes, Solskjaer was accountable for some things, his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but there was also players that had to take responsibility for those poor performances as well. Solskjaer has no proven pedigree as a manager, does he? The clubs he's managed in his managerial career, Solskjaer managed Manchester United's reserve team for a couple of years. Then, of course, Solskjaer managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was terrible. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. Solskjaer endured 2 spells at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club, and obviously managed Manchester United's senior squad. Solskjaer is a legend of Manchester United. He always will be a legend of Manchester United. Solskjaer was a great player for Man United. He endured 11 years as a player. Won a lot of trophies. Flourished under Ferguson's guidance. Ollie's most iconic moment as a player was when he scored the winning goal at the Nou Camp in the Champions League final back in 1999. Because obviously Ollie won the club the treble, and that is the club's greatest achievement. Solskjaer did not win a trophy when he was United manager, and I did say that he was not capable of winning trophies as a manager. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. I'm hoping we can win a trophy under Ralph Rangnick. But I said, didn't I, at the start of this season when Solskjaer was United manager, I said, this season was always going to be big for him. And Solskjaer was obviously under pressure because, revert back to last summer, Man United enjoyed a very good transfer window. Man United made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and Man United must have spent around £141 million. And also last summer when Solskjaer was United manager, he received very good backing from the board. The Glazers backed him, Ed Woodward backed him. Woodward's obviously leaving Manchester United very soon. It got announced back in April he was leaving when that European Super League came into the equation. Woodward's obviously had a 16-year association with the club. John Murtaugh backed him as well. Our director of football and Darren Fletcher also backed him. The expectations were far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager, and basically was in a position that he shouldn't have really been in. You know, Solskjaer did get appointed in as the interim manager back in December 2018. He was the interim manager in his first 3 months. He did very well as the interim manager, so obviously the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. When Solskjaer was United manager, he signed 14 players. So in the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. Then in January 2020, recommended Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in on loan. And then obviously in the summer of 2020, which was last year, he brought Edison Cavani and Donny van de Beek, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. And last summer he obviously brought Tom Heaton in, Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane and re-signed Ronaldo after 12 years. Man United spent over £400 million under Solskjaer. Let me put into the equation as well, when Solskjaer was United manager, he got rid of a lot of players. You know, he loaned players out and he got rid of a lot of players permanently. So the players he loaned out last summer, Ollie, was Ethan Laird, Brandon Williams, Axel Tuanzebe, Andres Pereira, Tahith Chont and Facundo Pellistri. The players he got rid of permanently, obviously he let Borthwick Jackson and James Wilson go. He also let Romero he let Romero go. He also let Ighalo go. He let Fossa Mensah go. He let Rojo go. He also let Young leave. He got rid of Valencia. He got rid of Smalling. He got rid of Darmian. He let Fellaini go back in January 2019. He also let Angel Gomez go. He let Herrera go. He let Lukaku go. And he also let Alexis Sanchez go. And last summer he let Daniel James go. He was the only player Manchester United sold last summer. In Solskjaer's first full season when he was United manager, he got Man United to 3 semi-finals and a 3rd place finish. In his second full season, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final, the Europa League final. You know, that was his first major final when he was United manager, but unfortunately he didn't win it. And last season got us a 2nd place finish. And don't forget, Manchester United went 29 games unbeaten away from home in the Premier League under Solskjaer. And I also like the way Solskjaer developed the youth when he was United manager. So there you go. Manchester United do play Newcastle on Monday at St James's Park. It is an 8 o'clock kick-off. Now obviously Manchester United's last 2 games have been postponed because of positive COVID tests. You know, Man United had the games against Brighton and Brentford postponed. A lot of games have been postponed recently. Manchester United's players recently returned to training at Carrington. More or less everybody's available, Rangnick confirmed in his press conference building up to this game. Man United, the last game they played was Norwich on the 11th of December. Man United won that game 1-0. Ronaldo scored the winning goal from the penalty spot. Ronaldo has scored 13 goals in all competitions since he re-signed, and he's got 802 goals in his career. It was a very poor performance against Norwich, so I'm hoping to see a far superior performance against Newcastle. Man United are looking to make it 4 wins in a row in the Premier League. I think Man United are 6th in the Premier League at the moment. I'm expecting Manchester United to beat Newcastle though, because Newcastle are a very, very poor team. They're 19th in the Premier League at the moment. I can assure that Newcastle will get relegated this season. Newcastle are coming into this game on the back of a 4-0 defeat to Man City. Newcastle's manager is Eddie Howe. Newcastle appointed Eddie Howe in earlier on in the season to replace Steve Bruce. When Eddie Howe got appointed in, he signed a 2.5-year contract with Newcastle. Very sceptical to see out his contracts. Before Newcastle, Eddie Howe managed Bournemouth. He was at Bournemouth for a long time and he did have a spell at Burnley. Earlier on this season, Newcastle sacked Steve Bruce. And before then, Newcastle had Rafa Benitez. Rafa Benitez did resign because he didn't get enough backing, and a lot of Newcastle fans were disappointed when Rafa Benitez resigned because actually Newcastle were consistent under him. I do know quite a few of the players that Newcastle have got. Obviously, they have got Ryan Fraser, who's a former Bournemouth player. They've got Callum Wilson, who's a former Bournemouth player. They're good players, actually. Newcastle have also got Dwight Gale. They've got Joe Linton. They've got Alain Saint-Maximin. Saint-Maximin is probably Newcastle's best player. He's just come back from injury not so long ago. Newcastle have also got Elliot Anderson and Jacob Murphy. They've also got Sean Longstaff. To be fair, Sean Longstaff's a good midfielder. He's obviously brothers with Matty Longstaff. Matty Longstaff, he's not at Newcastle at the moment. He's out on loan with Aberdeen. Newcastle have got Isaac Hayden. Now, he's suspended for this game, so that's bad news from a Newcastle perspective. Newcastle have also got John Joe Shelvey. You know, John Joe Shelvey is a former Liverpool and Swansea player. Shelvey, by the way, recently picked up an injury. Is he a doubt for this game? Newcastle have also got Jamal Lascelles, who's quite good. Newcastle have also got Matt Ritchie, Kieran Clark, Joseph Willett. They've got Almiron. They've got Federico Fernandez. Federico Fernandez has been out with injury. They've got Paul Dummett. He's also been out with injury. Newcastle have got Jamal Lewis. He's been out with injury, or is he still injured? Newcastle got Jamal Lewis from Norwich. They've also got Manquillo. He was recently out with illness. They've got Jeff Henrick. So there you go. The goalkeepers Newcastle have got, they've got Carl Darlow. And they've also got another goalkeeper called Dubravka. Back in October, Newcastle had that £300 million takeover by the Saudi Arabians. So reflecting on that, Newcastle are planning to invest heavily next year. Before the Saudi Arabians, Newcastle had Mike Ashley. You know, Mike Ashley was Newcastle's owner for around 13 years, and Mike Ashley, of course, was heavily criticised. I think all Newcastle fans were relieved when he sold the club, because he was definitely ruining Newcastle. Man United have got a very good record against Newcastle. Man United seldom lose to them, you know. Man United won this fixture last season at St James's Park 4-1. And Man United beat Newcastle earlier on this season 4-1 at Old Trafford. That was the game when Ronaldo scored twice on his second debut. After Newcastle, Manchester United play Burnley at Old Trafford. That's another game Manchester United should win, because Burnley are relegation fodder and they're enduring a poor season. Obviously, Burnley's game against Everton recently got called off. Burnley's manager is Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche has been a very long-serving manager at Burnley. He's managed Burnley for around a decade now. He's got a contract with them, is it till 2022? Before Burnley, he managed Watford. I do know quite a few of the players that Burnley have got. Obviously, they've got Vidra. He's a good attacking player. They've also got Chris Wood. Chris Wood is probably one of the best players that Burnley have got. Burnley got Chris Wood from Leeds. Burnley have also got Jay Rodriguez. They've also got Ashley Barnes. Burnley have also got Ashley Westwood. They've got Gunmanson. They've also got Jack Cork. They've also got Josh Brownhill. Burnley have also got Charlie Taylor. They've also got Benjamin Mee. They've got Matthew Lawton. So there you go. And like I say, next year... What? Alright.
Don't be polluting out there with that. There's your jammers there as well.
Alright. As I was saying, yeah, like I say, next year, Man United are going to offload players. Looks like Martial's leaving next month. Cavani will leave next year. He'll leave next month or in the summer. I've heard that Cavani's agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Then, Mata, I think he'll leave as well next year. Lingard will leave in the summer because not so long ago it said Lingard will be staying at Man United in January to fight for his place under Rangnick. What? Alright. Matic, I think he'll leave next year as well. Pogba, he may leave in the summer. He's not leaving in January, Pogba. He said Man United are not negotiating Pogba transfer for next month. Man United expects Pogba to stay in January despite him nearing the end of his contract. I think we'll loan Amad Diallo out next year. Van der Beek may leave in the summer. We know Van der Beek's not allowed to leave in January as he's valued by Rangnick. That's what it mentioned the other week. Jones and Bailly will leave next year. Henderson will leave as well next year because Romano said last week that Henderson wants to leave Man United in January to get more game time. So anyway, that's everything to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.